Dr. Kaushik Guha, an accomplished academic and researcher, earned his B.Tech in Electronics and Communication Engineering in 2005 and M.Tech in Electronics and Communication Engineering, RF Microwaves, in 2007. He completed his PhD at NIT Silchar in 2016 and currently serves as the head of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at the National Institute of Technology, Silchar. With a notable academic journey, Dr. Guha previously held position at Haldia Institute of Technology and served as a visiting faculty at NIT Mizoram. Recognized for his excellence in technology and research, he received the Distinguished Faculty Award in 2021 and the IETERS Kanpur Award in 2022 for outstanding contribution to medical for his outstanding contribution to medical instrumentation internationally and nationally, etc. As an associate professor, Dr. Guha's impactful leadership extends to running the National MEMS Design Center at NIT Silchar. His pioneering working in MEMS design is reflected in over 100 publications in esteemed journals and conferences, including IEE, Springer, and Elsevier. Dr. Guha is senior member of IEE and holds membership in professional bodies like IEI, SCCI, FAWCET, and IIAM. His extensive involvement in R&D projects, including international collaboration, has resulted in multiple patents and numerous accolades, such as the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Reformer Award in 2018 and the Institute of Scholar Research Excellence Award in 2020. Dr. Guha's current research interest in SPAM MEMS technology application, RF MEMS, BioMEMS, MEMS energy harvesting, and smart sensor of IoT, circuit design and optimization. A prolific speaker, he has delivered lectures at conference, seminars, and training programs, solidifying his reputation as a leading innovation in the field. Now I request Dean of Engineering, Rao sir, to please felicitate our guest. I request all the volunteers to come forward. Can you take the session, sir? Now I request Dr. Kaushik Guha sir to please take the session.
Hello. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction and my honor and privilege. And I'm very happy to be part of this conference because just I'm talking few lines about the conference. I think we met at the some program in Guwahati University and also one of the program that was held in the last year in Taj Vivanda Hotel. In another conference, I was also invited as a speaker. Then we are thinking about the Dr. Misro, Professor Sharma was speaking about the conference. Then I also thought, okay, so it will be a good opportunity to come down again and to start some collaboration, to start some research work jointly with NIT Silchar. So I think the day has come, and today actually I am here in front of you to deliver very brief overview of this, of my research areas, what actually we are doing on the NIT Silchar, what my students are doing, just give you the overview because the time is very short. Within 15 to 20 minutes, we cannot cover the entire research and core research part. So I thanks the organizing committee of this conference, ICASDIGT, in Downtown University in Guwahati. Thank all the organizers, Dr. Misro, Professor Sharma, for their kind invitation to me. And I am also feel very happy to be standing before you in this forum. So I think you have already seen the title actually. So the title may seem like offbeat type of thing. It is implantable bioartificial kidney and the new era in the biomedical engineering research. So maybe you can feel that why I'm talking about the kidneys like that, because in earlier days or generally we people, the engineering and technologies, we think that the kidney, heart, lungs, all are actually under the medical perspective. The medical professionals can talk about lots and lots, modes, kidney, heart, functions, lungs. But now the day has come, it is not like that. Ladies and gentlemen, the young students, the young researchers, young aspirants, now actually the technology has come to a position where engineering, technologists, medical professionals, industry partners can collaborate, can work together for a novel and innovative solution. And that is very, very pertinent and very relevant. And one of the very most important applications, that is human health care to the common benefit of the common people to our society. So with this aim actually, we have started the research on this domain very, I think, new, maybe almost 4 to 5 years back. So just now, I would like to highlight why actually it has a lot of potential to work, how to collaborate on this domain, what are the opportunities that the students can work on this particular domain. So these are the very contents that just I would like to highlight on this. Obviously there are some, because if you embark on this biomedical research, then you have to learn and study the physiology of the human organs, all the biology, biotechnological part. So that's why the role of kidney, then kidney disease, statistics also very important, and especially in the northeastern region perspective. What are the kidney diseases, okay, and how the kidney disease has spreaded across the country and especially in the northeast and Assam. Then there are some kidney replacement therapy and technology. Some of the approach, cell-based and non-cell-based approach. Then our research perspective on this particular domain. What are the interdisciplinary contributions that can happen? We can welcome the experts from the others and various fields of science and engineering branches to collaborate on this topic. Then very recent emerging technology that has come, that is called digital twin technology. I think you have heard the name. And how the digital twin technology also can help together, can aid your research on this particular domain. So you can see the human body, because I think whenever we do some, take some example of an engineering system, the most and precious engineering system is the human body, that I can say. The God has made the human body in such a way and so nicely. Everything is there in our human body and all things are synergistically and systematically happening. You do not need to control. It is automatically controlled. Everything is automatically controlled. So that is one of the good example of our sophisticated engineering system and engineering technology, our own human body. So in the human body, we know that the human body consisting of the cells, some of the living cells, extracellular materials, tissues, organs and systems, everything that we have studied in the biology, but slowly we have also forgotten because we are not dealing with this part of things. So that's why, but again we have to study, again we have to come back to this if you want to work on this very interesting, this domain. The human body consists mainly of the water and of organic compounds, lipids, proteins, carbohydrates and nucleic acids. Then water is found in the most part of the human body that is composed of by the water. So around 60% water actually consumes the human body part. So in the human body, if you think that around 100%, then 60% will be the water. So water plays a major chemistry here actually. All the fluids, plasma, transport mechanism happens with the help of the water. So that's why obviously the water flow, the microfluidic, fluid dynamics, okay, nanofluidics, these things are very, very important. These things are very, very important to study and to apply the knowledge. Just talking about the role of kidney, because there are so many organs. Not only kidney, is heart, lungs, and other organs also are there. But kidney is one such kind of organ. It is doing actually many, many works silently. We never knows, or suppose it is not in our interest, maybe we cannot or do not want to know. But if you study, like the medical doctors, that what kidney does, what is the role of kidney, then you will be amazed. How one small bean-shaped organ can do these multiple jobs at the same time. And what are the jobs? The filtering waste products, excess fluids and toxins from the blood. That is the most important function of the kidney, because in our kidney, it filters the wasteful blood and excretes the waste product in the form of urine and other some malicious products. Then it can regulate the electrolyte balance. It can regulate the homeostasis, status. It is called in the acid-base balance in the body. That is very, very important. In our human body, the acidic solution and the balance and the basic, these two things should be in a proper order, actually in the proportionately. If there is a disbalance actually occurs, then it will create a disturbance in the human health system, and that it will lead to some kind of the malfunction of the body and kidney, and then you have to go to the doctor, nephrologist who will do some checking and prescribe some medicines and like that. Then the maintaining the blood pressure also, it is very important. So kidney also playing a role to maintain our blood pressure. Then the stimulating the red blood cell production. Kidney produces some kind of hormone, it is called EPO, that can stimulate our red blood cells, and the red blood cells are required for carrying the oxygenated blood, that we know. So through these red blood cells actually, all the cells and organs actually are supplied with the oxygen. So that's why the generation of red blood cell or production of red blood cell is very, very important for our human body. Balancing fluid levels, removing drugs and metabolic waste, activating vitamin D, and regulating acid-base balance. So these are all such kind of, and other also, there are some secondary works are also there. So you can enlist a number of functions that the kidney actually is doing all the day, throughout the day. The kidney can filter about 180 liter water per day. So 180 liter water per day, the kidney can filter, and it is doing. So 180 liter is not a small thing, I think it is a huge, okay, the 180 liter. And out of the 180 liter, around 1.5 to 2 liter, the kidney can excrete the waste as in form of urine or something like that. So what are the other filtered products? It is again reabsorbed by the kidney. It is called reabsorption, one of the very important mechanism of the kidney. Reabsorption of the sodium, potassium, bicarbonate, glucose, which are very, very helpful for our human body, healthy human body. The history of the kidney, if you look at, so it is not a new, because from long, long years, around I think 800 to 900 years ago, the concept actually has come. So in 1550 BC, from that 400 BC, then 150 BC, like the 350 BC, and after also, the so far today, from 1970 to present actually, the kidney research continues, and thanks to the development of the technology. So from 1970 or 75 onwards, there is a huge, actually, the investment or the attention actually has been given on the kidney research activities. So there is a kidney care societies there. They are doing lot of works on this domain. Some of the landmarks in nephrology. You can see the picture of William Johann Kolff. If you can Google it out, you can see he is called the father of nephrology. He first actually invented the dialysis, the procedure. I think so many people nowadays are supported by the dialysis, the kidney failure, chronic kidney disease, ESRD, end-stage renal disease. Okay, then there is the only way to survive is the dialysis. The dialysis is very painful. It's not very easy. Okay, then you have to go, I think, weekly 2 to 3 times to the nearby hospital or centers. Then you have to put all this inside your body, then your blood's coming out, blood, okay, getting into, you have to lie on the bed for 3 to 4 hours, very painful. Then again you have to come to the home, then again the next day you have to go. So this system is not very sophisticated, but this is the only way nowadays you have to do. So the dialysis actually was first invented by these men actually in the Second World War. Okay, in the Second World War, when the people are dying out of the kidney diseases, then the William actually, Johann Kolff actually, he has invented a very the dialysis with the help of very natural process, okay, like that. Some beer can actually he used to use that beer can during that time, and he used to able to filter out the waste blood, and the concept of dialysis has come into the market. The first successful kidney transplant was performed in 1954 by the American surgeon Joseph Murray. So it was long back in 1954. So these are some of the landmarks in terms of kidney research and nephrology. So this is the kidney disease statistics. So you can see, you may wonder, so how actually the kidney diseases are spreading across the globe, not only in India. Obviously, we'll see our Indian scenario. So you can see that about 37 million US adults are estimated to have CKD, and most are undiagnosed. 40% of people with severely reduced kidney function, not on dialysis, are not aware of having CKD. Suppose we are having CKD, we do not know, because it is like a slow poisoning. I think we used to tell, no, that is a slow poisoning means what? It is slowly actually it will spread into the body. When it will come out as a form of end-stage renal disease, then actually you will come to know that your kidney is not working. You will go to the doctor. Doctor will do some test. Then he will see some creatinine levels, some urine analysis like that. Then you can get to know, okay, so my kidney is malfunctioning and not working properly. So CKD is such a disease, that chronic kidney disease, it will slowly spreads, but you cannot know what is actually inside that. Every 24 hours, 360 people being dialysis treatment for kidney failure. So these are all the scenario, and what is the northeast part? Because obviously we are staying in the northeast, we are serving our region in the northeastern region, so obviously we have some moral responsibility to do some for our local people. So for that we have to know what is the kidney disease scenario especially in the northeast and the Assam. So we can see that the prevalence of CKD in northeastern region is estimated to be around 12 to 15%, which is higher than the national average of 10 to 12%. And this had been said by a very eminent nephrologist of this part in Assam, Dr. Pronomita Kolita. He is a chief consultant nephrologist at a leading city hospital. I think she is now in GNRC, maybe in Guwahati. So now it is a very alarming stage. Okay, so we are not happy to see this type of statistics, okay, in front of the screen. There is a severe shortage of the dialysis delivery. because shortage of skilled manpower varies across the states. You can see that nearly half of the nation has less than 100 nephrologists available in the state, indicating a severe shortage of skilled professionals. In the Assam also you can find out here. So only 25 nephrologists are there. So nephrologists generally is very few. You can find so many other specialists in the medical professionals, but nephrology is not a very common. In Silchar also I could not find, maybe hardly one. In Kolkata also there are maybe around 25 to 30 nephrologists. In Assam also 25. But your demand is very high. So many kidney patients, only 25, 30 nephrologists. Obviously there is a severe shortage. So this is the estimated gap in the dialysis delivery. So this is the state-wise record. You can see that the Assam is also there. In the Assam, the total number of dialysis machine, it is 445. And estimated new ESRD patients added every year in respect of Assam, it is 5347. So 12 patients per dialysis machine. So one dialysis machine can serve here, actually serving the purpose of 12 patients. So now day by day patients are increasing, so obviously shortage of the dialysis delivery. So what are the kidney replacement therapy? So these are some very useful and very popular nowadays. Okay, this type of replacement technology that doctors are prescribing, that hemodialysis method. It is the blood is filtered through the machine to remove waste products and excess fluids, mimicking the kidney's filtration function. So if your kidney is not working well, then you have to make some arrangement outside the body so that it can mimic some of the functions of your kidney. Mainly, it can remove the waste-filled blood and excrete the waste out of the blood, and purified blood again will be supplied to your human body. So these things can be externally done, but not at that very high precision. With the hemodialysis, you can only filter the waste-filled blood, but kidney cannot do only this function. We have seen there are so many other functions are performed by the kidney. Not all these functions are performed by this method. So that is, of course, this is not the ultimate solution. Another is the method that is called peritoneal dialysis. It is painful, where the abdominal cavity, actually you have to put a cavity type of things, okay, inside the abdominal, and where it absorbs the waste products and excess fluid before being drained out. So PD treatment is yet to take off because it requires the knowledge, okay, the awareness, the education about that. So hemodialysis becomes very popular. In peritoneal dialysis, not so popular in our Indian scenario. I think people are getting trained on this perspective so that the people can do their dialysis in their home at their own. They do not need to depend on the dialysis center. So some of the evolution of dialysis machine, automated volume control dialysis in 1960, you can see there is a big chamber in the earlier days. So it's a big setup like that, dialysis machine. Now when the days has come passing by, in 1980, this is a modern regular dialysis machine. Also this is a big, so many control function, the display units like that. And this is the very recent and miniature version of the dialysis machines, that is in the 2000 also that. So there are different generation, the different dialysis machines are coming up. So in the recent dialysis machine also you can see the portable dialysis machine in the home. It can be installed and you can monitor by your own. So this is the portable hemodialysis machine. So the day by day people are doing research to decrease the size and weight so that it cannot be bulky like that. So there is a scope that people are doing the research. Also, we have recently submitted one project to the DST that we are also here proposing to build a low-cost dialysis machine with remote monitoring facilities where the doctors or nephrology can monitor from their chamber using the cloud and AI and ML, and we can monitor all these levels in the dialysis machine. So the result is yet to come out, but we do not know, but we have submitted one proposal with the help of one nephrologist. Then the kidney transplantation is another procedure where you can surgically implant a healthy donor kidney to replace the deceased kidney, but there is a challenge to get the donor kidney because it is not so usual. Okay, so you have to afford a lot of money, you have to also afford a lot of time to get the donor kidney like that, and when even after successful transplant also that the doctors have seen that that is not 100% accurate, some mismatches occurs. So the new kidney also cannot work well with the body because human body is distinct with the distinct person. The kidney is one part, but it is attached to the other also organs. Okay, so there may be some mismatches or compatibility issues can arise with the other organs with the kidney. So it is also not a very successful, but nowadays also in India, so many kidney transplantations are going on. That is the good news. Some of the key facts that we can see that every year around 220,000 new patients develop kidney failure, 6,000 dialysis centers including upcoming ones, 34 million additional annual dialysis demand. So in India, we demand these 34 million additional dialysis delivery. And minus 3340 nephrologists. So there is a huge shortage of the nephrologist and dialysis mechanism. So all these things, if you can see, so they are actually motivates us to work on something on this field so that the next generation or the common people can get the advantage, not now, maybe after 20 years, okay, with the help of technology. So where medical professionals are also seeking the help of our engineering students, the researchers and the technologists, so how to come up with a solution so that the people can avoid the dialysis, people can live longer with the small miniaturized kidney implanted inside the body, can take the power from the inside the body. That is called kidney on chip. KOC will be coming very soon. The people are working day and night for this technology. So this is one of the bioartificial kidneys. So that's why we have started work on this type of things where the technologies that can combine biological and the synthetic components to replicate some functions. So actually where we are first trying to replicate the kidney functions. So we have tried to mimic the reabsorption function. We have tried to mimic the glomerulus function of our kidney, how to make a barrier, how to filter out the waste, how to reabsorb all the proteins and glucose inside back to the body from the blood. So we have started something on this. So this is the implantable bioartificial kidney. And one man that I should always, that actually we should remember actually, he is doing lot of work, that is Shubho Roy. He is from University of California, San Francisco. Actually, he and his team actually doing lot of work on this technology, the kidney on chip technology. So these are some of the figures on that. Some bioartificial kidneys. Wearable artificial kidney, you can see the wearable artificial kidney like big bulky type of things, but it is not the solution because you cannot wear this type of device and can go everywhere. So you have to make it something small and miniature so that you can feel comfortable. So obviously there is a scope to get it miniaturization. So this is the bioartificial. So just I will now go to these two type of approach actually are generally there. One is the cell-based and another is the non-cell-based. The cell-based approach generally utilizes the living cells. And all the biotechnology people are doing, those who are doing the biological research, the pure biology, the living cells, you have to culture, you have to maintain everything. So that is one way. Another way is the non-cell-based approach. So non-cell-based approach is that here actually you do not require the living cells. Rather, we can make the environment inside the cell by some artificial way and with the help of the technology. That means you have to make some cavity, some pump with the help of microfluidics. Then you have to analyze the fluid flow. Then you have to pay attention to what are the materials that can fit together, the biomaterials. Then how you can make this risk of immune rejection and the potential for the long-term durability. So the transport properties of the glomerulus and the renal tubules can be worked, okay? So that is the one very good, actually very interesting domain of the microfluidics and nanofluidics that actually can play here to mimic this type of functions of the kidney. So our research in that domain, so we have started something long back, I think not 5 to 6 years back. We have tried to mimic the proximal convoluted tubule. The PCT mainly works to reabsorb the products from the blood again to the body. We have made some of these on these perspectives and did some experimentation, find some good results, published something also in the journal. So you can go through that one. Then now actually we are working on the glomerular filtration barrier. So we are trying to actually be mimicking the glomerular ultrafiltration. So how because the job of the glomerulus is to filter out the, is to behave as the ultrafiltration, because the kidney in the blood there are so many components, sodium, potassium, and each sizes of the components varies. So you have to make a very selective filtering, that is called ultrafiltration. And we are trying to mimic with the help of microfluidics and mechanical engineering concepts. So some of the works have been, we are doing, and it is submitted in the journal. Till now it is not published. So this is the methodology or hypothesis and implementation actually we are following. So the study of kidney disease, so that can be important for any young researchers, those who want to take the research on this domain. So obviously there is a huge role of the doctors and medical professionals, because without the help of the medical professionals or the nephrologist, neurologist, urologist, you cannot move ahead, obviously. So these are the steps that we are doing the simulation using COMSOL mainly. Then we are also trying to develop some mathematical, very good, robust mathematical model of entire kidney transport, because kidney transport is a very complex phenomena in the blood transport phenomena. We are trying to do some mathematical modeling on that. Then we are trying to optimize of the simulated structures, and then ultimately we will be doing the digital twin of the process structures using machine learning. So this is the one of the another project we have submitted to the India-Russia bilateral call of this actually with this domain. I do not know what will be the outcome, but we are hopeful that the project gets maybe accepted. So these are some of the novelties of the proposal. Basically, we are doing the non-cell-based approach because we do not have the biological labs or cell cultures like that, because it requires huge infrastructures, ethical performance, the clearance like that. So we are avoiding that, and we are doing the non-cell-based approach we are proposing. So now the main, actually, the core of this presentation, what is important, so how the interdisciplinary contribution, okay, can be, we can expect from the other backgrounds on this research, because it requires the biomedical engineers, it is also requires the biology and the cell culture specialist, nephrologists, that means the medical professionals, immunologists also. Then the material science experts can play a big role, because you have to choose the materials, whichever is durable, which one is biocompatible, long lasting. This type of materials also you have to, so because day by day the new biomaterials are coming up. Then bioinformatics and data science also plays a big role here, because you have a large data sets and you have to manage the data sets. So the data analysis also can be a part of this. Regulatory affairs also can part of this. Ethics and social sciences can be part of this. So this is a combined project. This is a combined project. So in a university, because all the branches are there, not only in engineering and science, so this type of research can connect you together in any big institutions or in university or in technological university also, so that everybody, because good and novel solution cannot be done by one group. It should be a contributory work from all other groups, all other engineering branches and science and technologies, commerce, arts, everywhere has to come and play together. Then we can obviously do something. The digital twin technology, that is very, very now buzz word nowadays for computer science people also, because now you can do the replica of your human system and you can work and you can predict the number of diseases using the replica. That is called the digital twin, and obviously it requires the knowledge of, extensive knowledge of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, that one. So there is a huge scope also. The computer people, computer science and engineering students can come up with their novel ideas. So this is my conclusion, and just so this is my Kidney on Chip Research Consortium. Actually currently what I am working, this is a very renowned professor from Russia, submitted one project actually with him. Then Professor Rao from KL University, he is my long-time friend in the research. Then Dr. Sengupta is a very renowned nephrologist and director of Nephrocare Private Limited. He is attached to NIT Silchar. We are doing lots of projects together, and also lots of projects are also in the pipeline. Then Professor Goel is very renowned microfluidics expert in BITS Pilani, Hyderabad. Dr. Dotto is very renowned urologist in Kolkata, RG Stone and Neurology and Laparoscopic Hospital. So there is a team actually I am trying to develop with the actually the combination of the medical professionals and the academia. So this is my National MEM Design Center, which I am leading since 2012. So mainly actually we do work, I do generally do work on the MEMS area. MEMS is also one kind of area where all the other science and engineering branches can come together and work. So that's why the MEMS is very, very interesting and interdisciplinary domain. There is a lot of scopes in this area. My students who are doing or who did completed their PhD in the NMDC, NIT Silchar, these are my students, and Dr. Swagata is sitting here. She is also one of my PhD students. She did PhD in NIT Silchar under my supervision. So it is great to see the Swagata and the students in some university when you go for a talk. Then my students who are doing work in VLSI domain, I am also working some VLSI technology also. Some of them has got the degree, some of them are about to submit their PhD. These are the scopes for the future students. So RF MEMS, MEMS microfluidics, biomems, energy harvesting. Also some opportunities are there for VLSI area also. So all the young researchers, students are welcome to join my family here, and we can start a good collaboration with Assam Downtown University and NIT Silchar. All these contributions are there in the ResearchGate on my website, also in the Google Scholar also, you can find it out. So these are the references, and this is the last slide. I intentionally kept it because this is very, very required. The global healthcare transformation. You see, there are various types of bands, and the health band, health to death, it is divided. So $0.3 per day you can invest for your fitness and wellness. If you do not think so, then you have to expend $3 per day for chronic disease management like diabetes, hypertension. If you also fail, then you have to pay $300 per day for COPD, heart, cancer, this type of failure. And then after complex chronic disease, in acute care disease, we have to pay $3,000 per day. So now this is the time we should think and we should confine ourselves in the first band, that is $0.3 per day. So we have to take the help from the technology so that we can never go to the other bands, okay, at the last stage, and we can prevent and we can take the precautionary measures at the very, very first instance. So that is my intention. Thank you. Okay. So any questions or something maybe like that, because the time is short, you please write to me, or after the conference also we can discuss, because I am staying today also, tomorrow morning I will be leaving. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights that you have shared with us. Now, we have with us another keynote speaker, Professor Vishwanath Sharma, sir. Professor Vishwanath Sharma joined the Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University, Hyderabad, India, as a lecturer and holds the position of professor since 2006. He taught courses for the undergraduate and graduate students in the area of thermal science. He has published more than 100 peer-reviewed articles in journals dealing with the thermal fluid problems in the problem of guiding 20 doctoral students. Professor Sharma worked as a full professor in the University of Technology, Petronas, and the University Malaysia, Pahang during 2009 to 2016. He has initiated experimental and theoretical studies with nanofluids since 2003 at the Center of Energy Science, Energy Studies, and later in the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, University Malaysia, Pahang during 2009 to 2012. He was involved in various research projects sponsored by the university and the government of Malaysia. The University Malaysia, Pahang has bestowed the Best Researcher Award, Sandikia Bitara Award in 2011 for the contribution made in nanofluid heat transfer. He has been instrumental in obtaining USA and Malaysia patent and used the nanoparticles of the manufacture of medium density fiber boards. He is the chief editor of the book titled Engineering Application in Nanotechnology, published by the Swinger, and has authored book chapters of 2 other publishers. Professor Sharma has been on the board of studies for various programs in the state and outside. He is a life member of the Indian Society of Heat and Mass Transfer, High Energy Materials Research Society of India, Fellow of the Institution of Engineers, etc. He has been the associate with the All India Council for Technical Education in the evolution of new engineering college in the country. Recently, Professor Sharma has delivered an invited keynote lecture in October 2016 at University Jamii Castellón de la Plana, Spain for NanoApp project review meeting funded under Horizon of 2020. So now I request our Dean of Engineering, Rao sir, to please felicitate our esteemed guest. Yes, sir. I request you to take the session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. So it's nearing lunch time. So I would like to quickly complete my presentation. Yesterday, is it okay? Is the volume okay? Yesterday, you have heard about nano lubrication by Professor Katiyar and one more Professor Sharma from Lucknow. He has spoken about the use of fluids in the area of manufacturing, how nanofluids can be utilized in the area of on the use of nanofluids for enhancement of energy transfer. So we have been talking about sustainability. That was the theme, or that is the theme of this particular conference. And hence, to extend it, I would like to start with the energy scenario in the country, because this is an area which involves a large amount of information. So skipping all that, I would like to concentrate on what is the situation, then going for the use of nanofluids for enhancement, for heat transfer enhancement. So the population of the country and the world has been increasing a lot, as you can see on the screen. Right now we are at 2020. The total population of the country can go up to 1.6 billion according to the predictions. So this is the various age groups. The consequence of the increase in population reflects on the use of energy, requirement on the energy part. So we see that for our country, we have been concentrating mostly on coal, petroleum and natural gas. Of late, we have also increased the amount of biomass and the utilization of waste energy into useful thermal form. So this figure shows about the generation, the power generation mix, or which we call it as the energy mix, which we have been following, or most of the countries in the world has been following a similar structure. However, from India's point of view, coal is a major component, followed by a certain amount of photovoltaic systems or energy from PV systems. Then comes a small part with other renewables, hydro, especially with respect to Assam. I find that hydel power is significant. I'll be giving you some more data on that later. So with respect to oil, so we see that we have been importing a lot. The amount of oil that is obtained from the country, within the country and offshore, is not that high. So consequently, we import a lot of oil. I hope all of you are aware of the latest developments. We have been procuring oil from Russia, Saudi Arabia, UAE and other countries. The important thing is that, look at the data. I say that we are consuming about 5% of the total oil consumption of the country. That is, it comes to about 51 lakh barrels out of about 971 lakh barrels per day, which is quite a significant quantity. Compared to China, however, I don't think that we are very, very high. We are about half of what China is consuming. With regard to natural gas, the latest data that we could get is about 7 billion cubic feet of natural gas is being consumed in the country on a daily basis. And this, we utilize it for various requirements, not only with respect to power generation, we also use natural gas for fertilizers. I hope all of you are aware that fertilizers is important for our food production, refinery and other requirements. The consequence is that we have been consuming coal, oil, natural gas. So with year on year, the amount or the energy that is available per person, per capita energy consumption has been steadily increasing, and this data is up to about 2017-18. Later on we can see that it is much higher. We have been consuming a lot. The latest data says that the consumption of oil has come down and the consumption of gas has increased a bit. So all these three different forms, coal, oil and natural gas, has been utilized for electricity generation, we can see that we are about more than 2 lakh megawatt installed capacity. The consumption of electricity has been going up. The losses due to electricity transmission, however, is coming down. That's an interesting data that has been obtained. So we see that we have about 4 lakh megawatt installed capacity, and we produce, let me look into the data. You can see this line. The top line is the combined installed capacity, the green line, and the brown line indicates the utilities. For those of you students, utilities are meant for electricity generation from government sector for power distribution. Non-utilities is from that of the private sector, which is meant for their own consumption. So we have a lot of data. I would like you to concentrate on this first column. You have about 2 lakh, more than 2 lakhs from steam, the thermal energy. From the gas power stations, you have about 25,000 megawatt, and the total comes to about more than 2.5 lakhs. I'm not going into the non-utilities, only from utilities point of view. We have more than about 2.5 lakh megawatt power generation. We also have a lot of reserves. So as you can see on the screen, proven means it is mineable, inferred means it is estimated. We are not sure that as of date we can get this about 7%. Then the indicated indicates we would like to go in for mines in due course of time. In consequence, I would like to say that we have a large amount of coal reserves in the country. When come to the estimated reserves of crude oil, we have a lot of crude oil, especially in Assam. As you can see here, the contribution from Assam is about 23%, and other states in this manner. Somehow there has been some shift in the display. So the total amount of crude oil that is available is about 652 million tons. Natural gas is also about, as you can see, it is more than 1,100 billion cubic meters. So all these different forms of energy that has been highlighted is only to show that we are dependent on thermal form of energy for our electricity generation. Now we have been talking about sustainable development. So we know what is meant by sustainability. It has been defined and it has been explained many times. I will not go in for it as it has been displayed. So I would like to concentrate on only two aspects of the different parameters. Some amount of renewable energy, what is the energy mix that we have been talking about, and how to improve the energy efficiency. Where does nanofluids come into the game, into our analysis or discussion? How to increase the efficiency, energy efficiency is of importance to us. So once again, we have seen that there has been a lot of progress in the electrification part. As more and more people are coming into the availability of electricity, so correspondingly we have to go for increase in generation also. So that means more amount of thermal energy part. So we also have a large amount of renewable forms. So we have solar and wind. They constitute major. Hydro also, small and mini hydro plants we have at different places in the country. So wind makes a major part. You have different wind farms in the country, right from Kanyakumari district in Tamil Nadu to Maharashtra, that is on the west coast. You have a large number of wind farms. You also have the solar energy part. Here, when I am talking of solar, I am not referring to the solar thermal, but solar photovoltaic form of energy. You can see in Rajasthan, Karnataka it is about 2000 megawatt, Rajasthan more than 2200 megawatt. These are the major solar electricity generating plants that have been listed. There are many, in fact. It will be redundant for me to say all those things. Now coming to Assam, as you can see here, unfortunately there has been some problem. So when I try to highlight, it is not getting displayed. So in Assam you can see that hydel power plants constitute a significant amount of renewable energy. On the whole, India is bestowed with a large amount of different forms of renewable energy, be it hydel, solar, wind, not much of geothermal, only in certain selected locations. So these are the major renewable energy energy sources that we have. This is off-grid. So independent of the grid, we also have independent power sources which is utilized at that location, and we also have such types. So that has also been listed. Now what is the important statement that I would like to say is that 40% of the electricity generation is from non-fossil fuel sources by the year 2030. That is our objective, to see that we minimize the effect of climate change. So that has been agreed upon, and I hope that all of you are aware of it. So to achieve this, we have to shift into renewables. However, technology at present is not that favorable for us to go in for large renewable energy conversion facilities. So we have to still rely upon the thermal energy resource. So that cannot be overcome. Maybe 20, 25 years later, we may think of minimizing the requirement of fossil energy and slowly increase upon the renewable form. So that is the objective of what the government of India has been emphasizing. So we can see that this is one of the important statements. We have 4 lakh megawatts of installed capacity. So by the year 26-27, so our requirements, the projected requirements are increasing. Right now we are at the 4 lakh megawatt capacity. By 26-27, it may increase up to 6 lakh megawatt. It's not a small number. To install a thermal power plant, it will take a huge amount of time. Say 4 to 5 years of time is required for installation facilities to be built up. Either you take any solar power plant, it may be less than 2 years. but however, it is quite a big number. So it is very important to go in for renewable energy form and to minimize the effects of climate change. The contribution from our country is to increase the renewable energy contribution to about 2.75 lakh megawatt by the end of this decade. So with coming to the hydel form, Assam is lucky. You have significant number of small capacity, mini and I can say mini projects of about 275 watts at one place and 100 megawatts at another place. It seems that there is a very big facility that is coming up at Subansiri hydroelectric project. So let us wish and hope that it comes fast. So what the government of India is planning to do has been presented in a nutshell. So we are in 2010, we are with the energy mix of renewables about 16% and fossil fuels of 84%. And by 2030, we would like to make it 50-50%. That's a very great objective. Let us see if we can fulfill it. Now, till now I have presented the energy scenario of the country, trying to minimize the number of slides. The basic outcome of our discussion has been that we have to still rely upon the thermal part of energy. So there are many components in a thermal power plant, and one of the ways of achieving sustainability or reducing the fuel consumption is by enhancement of the performance, enhancing the performance of various thermal components, especially in a thermal power plant. We use a lot of water. A thermal power plant is normally located either by the side of a river or by the side of a place where we have facility for water. Nuclear plants, as we know, we have these nuclear plants by the side of oceans. For example, Kalpakkam, it is located very close to a location where we have water source. Because we also know that these can be subjected to certain failures for which we require a lot of water. So water is one of the major components that we make use of in a thermal power plant, be it in a boiler or in a condenser. Large quantities of water is required. So when we deal with water to transfer energy, either in a boiler or in a condenser, we know from thermodynamics that if we can enhance the temperature difference, we will be able to enhance the efficiency of a thermal component. So if I can reduce the temperature of water in a condenser, there is a possibility for enhancement of the efficiency. So the efficiency of the condenser can be enhanced. So how can be achieved? It can be done with the help of a nanofluid. So nanofluids, some of you might have known what, may be aware of what it is. Water has a thermal conductivity of about 0.6 at about 30 degrees centigrade. Its thermal conductivity when compared to that of solids such as copper, which is about 400 watt per meter degree centigrade, is quite less. So how can we enhance the properties? If I can enhance the properties of these fluids, I can enhance the heat transfer capability of a particular equipment. So what we do is disperse certain particles, nanometer size. Nanometer, as we know, it is about 10 power minus 9 meters. So we can manufacture, with the development in technology, we can manufacture different particle shapes, either spherical, cylindrical, other types. Most of the work with nanofluids has been undertaken with a spherical shape particles. The particles can be aluminum oxide Al2O3 or TiO2 or SiO2 or CuO, copper oxide. You can either use metal particles or metal oxide particles, which are much easier for us. So dispersing such particles in a fluid, it is not just like adding sugar to a cup of tea. So you have to properly see. It depends upon the particle size and it depends upon the base liquid. Are you using water or are you using some other liquid such as glycerin, ethyl alcohol, etc. So we call this as a two-step process, adding metallic powders or oxide powders to that of a base liquid such as water, etc. We call this addition as a two-step process that is commercially feasible and hence we adopt it. So with this fluid, many people have conducted. This work has been started around 1994, but there was not much work that has been done. Right from the year 2003 and onwards, some interest has been initiated, and slowly by the year 2010, most of the work has been done, and it is still continuing. So what happens when we disperse particles? The properties of these particles. So for a heat transfer, the capacity of a fluid is determined with 4 parameters. They are density, viscosity, specific heat, and thermal conductivity. When I disperse particles in a base fluid, I try to determine the properties of these fluids. I conduct it at different temperatures. The thermal conductivity enhancement or the viscosity enhancement changes with the temperature, with particle size, with the base liquid properties. So we have to undertake tests. There is no theoretical methods by which we can determine still today. So we do it, and we also have at different concentrations. When I add particles, more and more amount of particles, the properties, the thermal conductivity increases, but also the viscosity increases. The increase in viscosity is not advantageous from thermal transport point of view because it increases the pressure drop. So there should be a balance, and also it also depends upon the temperature. Keeping all these parameters in mind, so people have been conducting experiments. People characterize with the help of SEM, undertake experiments by using instruments to determine the properties independently. So with the different particles, oxide particles or metallic particles, and obtain liquids which are similar to this. You can see that there is no sedimentation of particles at different concentrations. It has been missed here. So we have done it right from low concentration to the high concentration of 4%, but still there was no significant sedimentation of these particles over a period of time. So we also have done it with aluminum oxide. So we have to characterize, because it also depends upon the shape of the particle. We undertake such. We go for a lot of data regression. We require properties. So when we do it experimentally, there is also a possibility that we can do it with theoretical background. Most of the analysis has been done with FEM, finite difference method and finite element method, using commercial software, ANSYS and CFD analysis. So where we require certain regression equations for the properties. So using those properties, we can come across or develop regression equations useful for the analysis. So we conduct experiments by fabricating equipment. All these equipment cannot be obtained. We cannot go to the market and try to purchase. So we have to invariably go for the design and fabrication part. So the industry not only use it for the flow of a liquid in a plain tube, but also have different mechanisms for heat transfer enhancement. Mechanical students will be able to know that we also have what is called the twisted tapes, such as this. At the bottom I have shown you. So this we call it as a twisted tape. A lot of work has been done, documented in the literature. Then we go in for the experimental validation. So we have done it with different liquids. I know that this conference is meant to motivate you to go into certain research activities, for which I have to cut down the size of the presentation. So we go in for the validation of the basic data with base liquid water. Then we go in for different concentrations of the nanofluid. We can do it at one single temperature and at multiple temperatures, determine the heat transfer coefficients, look into, analyze the data, repeat the experiments again and again, at least 2 or 3 times, validate the experimental data. Please note that conducting an experiment is not an easy task. It requires a lot of man-hours, patience. The equipment goes bad, you won't be getting the temperatures. You have to go for recalibration of the thermocouples, whatnot. It will take at least 1 to 2 years for a PhD student to take the data from the experimental setup. So such a work has been done with the TiO2 and SiO2 nanoparticles at various concentrations. We have gone in up to a certain concentration of 3.5% by volume. So now we have a lot of data. We plot the data, we analyze the data. The important thing that I would like to present to you is that one may ask me, sir, what is the best combination? Should I increase the concentration? Should I change the base liquid? Now for a particular base liquid and a particular concentration, you have a particular enhancement of heat transfer coefficients. But as you can see here, I take an example of this SiO2 so that you can extend it to other liquids also. So when this square, solid square indicates that for water, but when I increase the concentration to 1%, it has increased 0.5 and 1 are very close to each other. When I further increase the concentration to 1.5, the open star symbol, it has increased. But when I go on increasing, but suddenly after 3% for 3.5% concentration, it has decreased. So there is no guarantee for us that the heat transfer enhancements will take place with increase in concentration. The reason being the operating temperature. We have maintained the set temperature of the liquid to 30 degrees centigrade. So what I would like to tell you is that the enhancements are dependent not only on the base liquid particle size, it also depends upon the concentration and the operating temperature at which you would like to undertake the experiment. There are a large number of experimental data which is meant to compare between SiO2 and TiO2. I would like to skip this one because it is fast approaching lunchtime and there is some more presentations behind me. So you can see that we have also done it with the twisted tape. We have done it for a flow in a straight tube without any obstruction. Then we went in for a twisted tape. Then we obtained the experimental data for SiO2 and TiO2 nanofluids, compared the data, and then arrived at certain valid outputs. So the results from this is that, as I have stated, it depends mostly on the operating temperature at which we would like to undertake the experiment. However, the friction factor is not significantly high from the experimental data that we have undertaken. Probably it can be due to many factors. It depends upon the particle size also. So let me skip these figures. So what I would like to throw in front of you is that those of you who are aspiring to work in the area of fluids, you have a wide area of applications. You have nano lubricants. You can use nanofluids for manufacturing processes in the manufacturing area. You can use it in the area of energy transfer also. So these are the wide applications of fluids. When we enhance their properties, will help in the enhancement of heat transfer, thereby helping us to sustain the crucial fossil resources for the generations to come. So these are some of the salient points I would like to summarize. Energy is required for the economic development of any country. Sustainable development is essential for all nations. It is not that only India wishes or plans to do. Going for sustainability, it is important for all countries. Coal-based thermal power plants are to stay for some more decades for electricity production or generation. Research on enhancing component efficiency is to be undertaken. That is the point I would like to drive you in. So as of now, because we cannot remove the thermal component for energy generation, in the next 20 years, we have to see how best we can enhance the efficiency of these components. Simultaneously, renewable energy component in the energy mix, that has to be increased. So we have to slowly increase the renewable component, reduce the fossil energy component, so that we can slowly achieve a better climate for the future generations. Renewable energy technologies for commercial scale electricity production to be developed. That is also an important aspect that I would like to throw in front of you. The speaker today in the morning has been talking about hydrogen production. Hydrogen is probably can be one of the important fuels, especially when we go for fuel cells. Fuel cells, as we all know, converts the chemical energy into electricity directly. So if we are able to generate or produce a large amount of hydrogen by some means, by using solar energy also, that will be a positive step in this direction. However, a large number of fuel cell types has been developed, but not on a commercial scale. I have not seen much progress. A progress has been up to about 2 megawatts that I have seen in Hyderabad BHEL facility, but not on a very big or large scale. So probably we can, if we can produce large quantities of hydrogen, that can also be thought of. Social awareness, the last point that I would like to dwell upon is the social awareness of electrical energy and water conservation in schools and colleges can be enhanced. We know that yesterday there was a brainstorming session in which some of the key speakers of the meeting have spoken on this. So it is necessary for all of us to create a kind of awareness at homes and at schools probably. I would like to emphasize on schools rather than colleges, because all the elders here must be aware of our responsibilities. So we have been looking at these aspects. In Singapore, I have heard this I'll stop with this small information. Singapore is a very dynamic country. It is a country where the government is able to impart knowledge to parents through the children. This is a statement which might surprise you, but it is a reality. What they do is, Singapore doesn't have water facility. They purchase water from Malaysia and also from Indonesia. If there is a fight between Singapore and Malaysia, they go for purchase of water from Indonesia. They get shiploads of potable water from these countries. To conserve water, they reprocess the utilized water. So most of us, they have two channels, the water which has been used from the bathrooms and from the other end. This water will be reprocessed at a central facility, and it will be purified, and it will be sent back for distribution in the main. Tomorrow if you have to go to Singapore, what is that, what type of water am I drinking? That is why in Singapore and Malaysia, they drink water in plastic bottles. You can see all the people, local people, they take water from water bottles only, purchased water bottles. But in India, you don't see that. We have tap water, which we go in for. So what the government does is, when I make this statement, people will feel it, what is that, am I drinking some bad water, dirty water? No. The school children will be taken to these centers, they will be showing how the water is getting processed, and finally the purified water is taken by the person there, and that will be seen by these, watched by these children. Now you taste it. Oh, it is very nice. Oh, this is the water that I am drinking. That is how the government will transfer the information from the children so that the children of the future will be able to accept it. So I hope India doesn't have that situation, but conservation is a part of our life. We have to see that we conserve energy. Water and electricity are both reversible. One is equivalent to that of other, because if I want water, I have to lift water, which requires electricity. If I want to generate water, I have to use water to generate power. So these are two forms of similar energy forms. So it is high time that we concentrate on proper energy conservation methods, both at home as well as in place of work. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I thank all the management and the organizers of this conference for giving me this opportunity to share some of this knowledge which we have accrued over a period of time. Thank you. I thank Dr. Rao for inviting me to this conference. Originally, I was thinking of going online, but having given the opportunity, I thank him personally for this. Thank you, one and all. Any questions? For a few minutes, if there are no questions, I will leave the platform to the next program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights with us. Now I request Dean of Engineering, Rao sir, to please felicitate our esteemed guest, Professor Bijay Goswami sir from Assam Engineering College.
Thank you all. Next, we are moving to our technical session round. So we have our chair, Dr. Kaushik Guha sir, and Professor Bijay Goswami sir with us. They will be chairing our technical session. The paper IDs that are to be presented are 37, 83, 87, 88, 89, and 90. So the basic rule of this presentation is that you have to give your presentation for 7 minutes and 3 minutes will be given for the question answer round. I request all the participants, whoever is presenting, to please stick to the time, as because after 6 minutes there will be a warning bell and at 7 minutes there will be a final bell. I request Guha sir as well as Goswami sir to be seated in the front, please. The first paper is paper ID 37. The title is Analysis of Noises Affecting Electrocardiogram for Efficient Arrhythmia Detection. The authors are Mrinal Goswami, Rahul Ariel, Deepika Rai, and Arpita Nath Borua. I request the presenter to please come to the dais for your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our paper ID is 037. Respected all the delegates present here, member, and my dear friends. Today I am here to present our paper, that is review paper, on analysis of noises affecting electrocardiogram for efficient arrhythmia detection. Along with me, my co-author, Deepika Rai, is also present here. Here is my table of content. Cardiovascular disease jumped 60% globally from 12.1 to 20.5 million between 1990 to 2021. One of the most example of cardiovascular disease is arrhythmia. Arrhythmia is an abnormal heart rhythm. If heart rate is less than 60, then it is called bradycardia. Or heart rate above 100 is called tachycardia. ECG is used to detect arrhythmia. ECG is a tool that is used to measure the abnormal activities of the human heart. Arrhythmia, in simple word, is irregular heartbeat. Trained healthcare professional like cardiologist can visually analyze the ECG for abnormalities like irregular spacing of QRS complexes, changes in QRS complex shapes, absence of P waves, etc. Some common types of arrhythmias are ventricular fibrillation, ventricular tachycardia, supraventricular tachycardia, atrial fibrillation, sinus tachycardia, and the bradycardia. This arrhythmia that is used to measure by ECG signal, which is affected by the noises. Noise is ECG, in ECG refers to any unwanted interference or artifact which interferes with the signals and degrades the insights present in that signal. Here are the different type of noises present. The first one is the baseline vendor. Baseline vendor is produced when the patient takes breath. Its frequency ranges from 0 to 0.7 hertz. Here, the first one is the original ECG signal, and the second one is the noise signal, which consists of that baseline vendor's signal. And the another one is the motion artifact. Motion artifact is caused or produced when there is a poor contact between the electrode and the woman's chest skin. Frequency ranging from 0.01 to 10 hertz. Power line interference. Frequency ranging from 50 hertz to 60 hertz. It is caused due to the electrical impulse that and the frequencies. And another one is the electromyogram. Electromyogram is caused due to the muscle contraction. At the time of that ECG, while taking ECG, that muscle will be contract, so it causes high frequency from 0 to 500 hertz. Here is our program statement. ECG signal consists of different kind of noises. Without removing these noises, we cannot find the insights present in it. So, this study aims to review recent advancement in the noise removal technique for ECG signal processing. Ultimately, improving the reliability of the ECG-based diagnosis will enhance patient care in cardiology. There are different types of method used for ECG denoising. Discrete wavelet transform denoising method. In discrete wavelet transform method, the signal is passed through the different types of filter, like high pass filter and the low pass filter. After that, the signal is downsampled. And another one is the cooperative filtering in of similar segment. The obtained array is filtered using the Savitsky-Golay method and the polynomial fitting method in two directions respectively. Improve NLMS-based adaptive denoising method. The LMS tends to convert faster, resulting in the higher steady-state error of an algorithm. As the signal consists of relative error and the steady error, so to overcome that, improved NLMS-based adaptive denoising method is used. Stationary wavelet transform. In stationary wavelet transform, the disadvantage of discrete wavelet transform is overcome. Deep learning based denoising method. In deep learning, it is a supervised learning method which needs trained data to learn, and it is based on the autoencoder that consists of both encoder and the decoder. And the last one is the convolutional autoencoder. It is an unsupervised learning which trains itself by loss function. It consists of generator and the discriminator. Dataset used is used from the MIT BIS from PhysioNet. The different noises such as electrode motion, baseline vendor, and the muscle artifact were collected in .mat format, and we used MATLAB for processing this. After examining this method described, we found the SNR of a different proposed method as mentioned. The SNR of an input signal is 10 dB in the stationary wavelet, and by using that stationary wavelet transform, we get 48.56 dB to 49.99 dB. And similarly, using different method, we get the different SNR. At last, by reviewing different paper, we got that the analysis of a cardiology disease supported ECG signal has 4 main steps: pre-processing, feature extraction, feature selection, and the classification. Stationary wavelet method provides us the most accurate clean signals like the original signal. Here is the references that I have taken. Thank you. Now I have opened the floor for questions. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you for your timely presentation. It was nice. Now the house is open for questioning. If from the audience side, if you want to ask any questions on his research, please, we can take 1 or 2 questions. Any question from the audience side? Then I would like to request our co-chair, Professor Goswami, please ask one.
So this data, whatever you are receiving, that means you are doing in the here or you are collecting from there?
I have collected data from the PhysioNet, MIT BIS data set.
That's a set, no? So can you go to a previous slide number this one? Yes, single content noise only. This is it. And means that noise, particularly you are reducing the noise. Any other means recent method related to this one is there, whatever you have?
Yes, after reviewing many papers,
Yeah.
I found that stationary wavelet method is best.
Yeah.
And that autoencoder also giving accurate result for it. Not 100%,
Not
but
this one. And the better than this one?
better than this one.
This one. So whether you are planning for do anything?
Yes, sir. I'm planning, and along with me, my teammate
So
also.
you are going there or directly sending data from here? And means-
No, sir.
Okay then, no problem. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Just one question. So, what is the main conclusion of your study? I think you have compared the signal to noise ratio.
Yes.
So, what is the inference from the table? Can you go back to the table? Yeah, so SNR of input and SNR of output signal. Input it is 10 dB, stationary WT, and then output is 48.56 dB. So what is the reason behind it? Why?
Sir, as signal to noise ratio is indirectly proportional to the noise, higher the SNR value, the higher will be the noise. So higher the SNR value, higher will be the accurate result. Sorry. So as in this table, we can see that we have given the SNR of our input signal is 10 dB, and we obtained 48.56 dB to 49.99. Similarly, in different method, we can see in that SNR of the output signal, the stationary wavelet method have more SNR value than other method.
So the more SNR value in the stationary WT, so that's why it is?
Yes,
Much
higher,
more.
higher the SNR value, higher accurate will be the result.
Okay.
Yes, SNR is the ratio of power of that clean signal to that power of noise signal.
So I think in the SNR of input signal is also changes in all the signals. So ultimately though you have to take the ratio.
Sir, can I answer this?
Yeah.
Sir, actually, SNR of input signal is the signal, the noise signal which we have provided before applying the method. So at first, when we calculated the SNR, it was 10 dB. So after applying the methods mentioned here, as per the review papers we have studied, so we got the SNR output value 48.56 dB, or the improved version, after applying these methods. So before the method, the noisy signal, it had this SNR value.
Now then, the inputs are not same, na? So it is 10 dB, 15 dB,
Yes,
random.
sir, but I
3.
have taken the review from different papers.
Okay.
So it is different from because I have done literature review only. I have not done any work on it.
Sir, since it was a review paper, we had to go through the methods they have followed. So we have to just validate it. So we followed the way they did, and then that was the review which we got.
Yes, I have taken the result from different
We are
papers.
planning to take this paper further. So in our paper, we are like trying to use 2 or 3 methods from here. So in that, we'll be using it according to our way, like using the same input signal for all the methods. But since it was a review, we validated using our authors. the previous authors.
Okay, so later on when you will do your own work, you try to compare with the same level of input signal.
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
sir.
Then what will be the output? Accordingly, then you can conclude. So this method is best fitted
Yes, sir.
for my research. Eh?
Sure,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you, students. Now I request all the participants to please stick to the given time limit. Total time you will get 7 minutes for the presentation, 3 minutes for the question answer round. First bell will ring at 6 minutes and second will be rang at 7 minutes. Now our next paper ID is 83. Authors are Gunajit Kalita, Navajit Saikia and Amit Sarban Bora. Title is A Design Approach for Reversible SR and D Flip-Flop. I request the participants to please come on the stage.
Folder is there. Which one is this one? No? One folder is somewhere.
Folder, sir.
I guess somewhere. No, one go below, go below.
So this is the answer.
No, down, this one, down. This one. Click it and this one.
Format.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I am Gunajit Kalita standing in front of you to present my work. Name of the work I assigned as a design approach for reversible SR and D flip-flop. My co-authors are Navajit Saikia from Assam Engineering College, Amit Saban Bora from Monash University, Australia. So here table of contents, introduction, problem formulation methodology, proposed work, result analysis and conclusion. So introduction, traditional digital logic, whatever we are using is irreversible and digital circuit, yes. So digital circuit building block is gate, we know. Is it okay? Okay. So it is said that in traditional electronics, whenever bit is erased, then amount of heat generated is around kT log 2. K is your Boltzmann constant and T is temperature in Kelvin. Though it is a very minuscule temperature, but since there are millions of gates used in a computing system, then this heat is quite quite high, and which we don't expect. And this phenomenon was first noticed by an IBM scientist known as Rolf Landier in 1961. And he wrote a paper on this, and he said that this type of problem can be addressed or can be removed once the logic is reversible. Now, what is reversibility or reversible logic? Here, input can be generated from output. In traditional electronics, normally, whenever inputs are given, most of the inputs are destroyed. So it is very difficult to regenerate them. So for that, once we want to regenerate them, then we require lots of other circuitry like feedback circuit or some other arrangement. But in reversible case, input and output numbers will be same. That's why it is easier to regenerate them from output. So if we notice, it is a function like this. Size of input and output is n into n, same number. And here one restriction is there, fan outs should not be there. And if we see that normal digital electronics, that truth table if we see, there are number of inputs and output is only one. In this case, there are same numbers of input and output, and their mapping will be on 1-to-1 and onto, which is also known as bijective. And one example of reversible logic is quantum logic. Today, we use quantum computer where quantum logic is reversible. So to implement reversible logic, building blocks are required. They are reversible gates, and different reversible gates can perform different logic operation, and there are lots of gates proposed in many literatures. Similar way, memory is very important, and to design the memory we require flip-flops. So if we want to design some computer which should be reversible, then also we need flip-flops for them. These are reversible gates. We'll see, when you see this diagram, these are very popular gates. This is Feynman gate, where number of input A and B, output is X and Y. We can see that. Another gate is the Perez gate. You can see number of inputs, 3 inputs here, also 3 outputs. And if we look into the truth table, you can see input and output can be easily mapped and they are distinct. This basically proved the reversibility. Now this, if you notice, this is related to digital, no doubt, but when you want to transport this or you want to map this to a quantum, then there must be quantum equivalent. So that can be designed using lots of libraries. I have used here NCV libraries. You can see control V gates and control V plus gate, also one Feynman gate used here. Since number of these unitary gates are 4, if we design this using digital logic, the cost of this gate will be 4. So from this discussion, what we can see, reversible gate are very important, can perform various reversible function. So they are used for designing reversible circuit. And already we have seen here, reversible design of flip-flops are important because they are main block to design memory. So the reported works have scope to improve performance, whatever we have addressed here. And so this particular works aim to propose the gates and flip-flops. And also we try to see some performance parameter like quantum cost, ancilla count, garbage count, total cost, gate count, etc. cryptography, and signal processing. Why? Because if we have seen that number of inputs and outputs are same, that's why it will be easier for us to do that.
Okay, but so if there is a delay is a problem, so can we compromise with the delay in that case?
We can't compromise if we want. Then we have to choose, alter the technology like some other technology I mentioned.
QCA, like that.
Maybe QC or directly quantum technology, which is not that much available, but we can use that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Month, Suraj Kumar Behera and Sahadasan Khute. Title is Design and Development of Advanced Dumper Cell for Cryogenic Engines.
Okay. Okay. My topic to present is design and development of advanced damper seal for cryogenic engines. I'm the author. I'm Nirmala Sumant from NIT Rourkela, and my co-authors are S.K. Behera and Sahadasan Kutte. S.K. Behera sir is faculty of NIT Rourkela, and Sahadasan Kutte sir is PhD of NIT Rourkela. And these are some of table of contents like which I have listed in the PPT. And literature. These are some of the main literature review which I went through. Hello. Okay, introduction. Yeah, before going to damper seal, first let me explain what is a damper seal. Damper seal is a seal like which reduces leakage and as well as the vibration. So in the figure 1, like here you can see this is the damper seal, like the transparent one, and this is the fluid region in between, and this is a shaft. This is the coupled picture of a Lebrun seal with fluid region and the shaft. And these are the normal damper seals which I considered for the study. And this pocket damper seal, this is the honeycomb seal. So based on the design also, damper seals are further divided into different types. And leakage, like, but my main focus will be on the leakage. And research cap, like why I'm doing this project.
because the basic seals whichever we are using now, they are so basic. As a time is proceeding, we need advanced damper seals. As the speeding is increasing. And in ISRO and in some other space sector, we are using relaunch vehicles. So the reliability of these damper seals also plays an important role and objective of this project. So first I consider the basic steel which we are using now, that is the Lebron seal, and later I took honeycomb seal, like which I am considering for the study. I'm just implementing the honeycomb structure onto my seal, and then I optimized the honeycomb seal further to with converging and diverging clearances. And this is the validation result. These geometry dimensions I have taken from the paper. This is a 2D geometry of the Lebron seal. This is actually the fluid structure, and the top one we have a Lebron seal. This is basically the clearance area of Lebron seal and the shaft. So, but this is axisymmetrical, as Lebron seal is axisymmetrical, so they just took yes 2D structure. But the thing which I proceeded for the honeycomb structure, it is not axisymmetric, so I need to do it in 3D. So what did I do is, like, I converted the 2D geometry into 3D, and I performed the CFD analysis on Lebron seal, and in the same way I have honeycomb structure, I implemented the honeycomb structure onto it. And these are the dimensions of the honeycomb, like Lebron seal honeycomb structure, and which I considered. And these are the dimensions you can see clearly. And this is the Lebron seal, like which I use it for meshing, and this is the fluid region. And that is also honeycomb seal, the fluid region. And for later I optimized the honeycomb seal, right? For optimizing, I gave an angle of 0.96. If you ask me why did I gave 0.96 as a angle, I wanted to maintain the constant clearance area in between like the fluid region. So I calculated the area that need to be constant. So for that I got the value as 0.96. So I just gave a divergence angle of that. And results and discussion. These are the values which I got for Lebron seal. These are the leakage values for Lebron seal. This is for with honeycomb structure with constant clearance, and that is for convergence and divergence. If you ask me why did I convert the damper seat into convergence and divergence, if you take a engine of rockets, basically in subsonic range for diffuser, as the area increases, the velocity decreases. In the same way, I just implemented to this damper seal, so for the results like which I'm going to get. So from the result plot there, we can see that this is the leakage of Lebron seal, and this red color region is honeycomb with constant clearance. And you can see the difference that for honeycomb seal, we have decrease in leakage. In the same way, for diverging also, converging also, I mentioned the leakage. And for constant and converging and divergence, we have reduced further. And these are some of the results like which I got. This is the pressure contour and velocity contour and temperature contour. So for basically for RPM, which I gave was like 50,000 RPM, and I used like I wanted to implement these two rockets. That is the reason like I gave liquid nitrogen as a fluid. And if you ask me, in rockets we generally use hydrogen and oxygen as a fuels. But if you ask me why I'm using nitrogen, means like if I wanted to further proceed with the project in NIT Rourkela, we have nitrogen power plant, and so we can even test this experimentally. And using hydrogen and oxygen fuel for testing purposes is like too dangerous. So nitrogen will be sufficient. And the low storage temperature for nitrogen and oxygen and hydrogen will be almost like similar. So that is the reason we took this. And conclusion, from the results which I have shown, then Lebron seal, like honeycomb seal, and with constant area clearance and honeycomb with converging and diverging clearance, we have a reduce in leakage. So we can implement these damper seals to the rockets. And these are some of the references which I have considered. And thank you. If you have any questions, like, welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your nice presentation. Now the house is open for questions. Anyone from the audience side, if you can ask. If there is no question, then question from our side. Okay, Dr. Goswami.
So nice presentation.
Thanks.
So that diagram you have shown, which tool you are using?
SolidWorks.
Solicles.
This I took from SolidWorks.
No. Well, that 3D diagram. Next. This one?
This is from CFD, like Fluent.
Fluid.
Fluent.
Okay. Constructor. Okay. So means liquid nitrogen, but actually in our whatever cryogenic system we are designing, that is oxygen, I think, no?
Yes, oxygen and hydrogen.
Hydrogen. But nitrogen will be quite dangerous, no?
No, sir. Like compared to oxygen and hydrogen, it is less dangerous. And even in NIT Rourkela, we have a nitrogen power plant, so we can just test with that.
Testing that. And what is the difference between whatever means, I don't know, maybe that is for general purpose I am asking, whatever rocket engine, cryogenic engine developed by Sergei Korolev, and what is the difference means? Korolev design and your design?
Like you're asking about me?
No,
about
this
the
is just
fuels
from knowledge base, whatever general purpose I am asking. Not from result and all these things means. No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking whether you know or don't know.
Actually, normal Lebrun seal is like, wait, I'll show you the pictures. This is the basic Lebrun seal, but Lebrun seal, it can reduce the vibration, but the amount of vibration it reduces is like too minimal. So I'm using this honeycomb structure. So when fluid passes through that honeycomb structure, it creates a tortuous path. So when fluid passes through, it creates some hydrodynamic forces on it. So vibration gradually decreases.
Decreases. Okay.
So this would be preferred better
Main
than that.
thing. Main goal. Okay. Thank you from my side.
Yes.
Okay, so I think this is a nice research and some different type of presentation you have shown. Can you tell me the geometry, about the geometry? What is the speciality on the honeycomb geometry? Why the honeycomb structure is taken as a sealing material? The geometry, how the geometry plays a role, my question is.
Actually, it is inspired from the nature, sir. So just from the honeycomb, like honey way we just implemented that to damper seal and just seeing the difference.
No, is there anything more other than the geometry? Because I think your objective is to make reduce the leakage.
Leakage, yeah. By just implementing some structures on it, so that.
So there can be any structures, na? You can propose your own structure also.
Yeah. Actually, this honeycomb structure is also like some guys did a research on this. So I just took the research to further and optimizing the geometry with the angle I just gave a converging and.
So you can come up with a different type of geometry also, na? So where I think you can compare the different geometries and maybe you can get some good results on other geometries also.
Yes, I'm working on one more seal also, that is pocket damper seal. I'll show that also. This is a pocket damper seal. Like these results I didn't show here, but I'm working on it. This is a pocket damper seal. Like it's just the updated version of Lebrun seal. In between there will be some kinds of sockets. Here you can see the sockets in between which I'm showing, but Lebrun seal doesn't have any sockets on it.
Okay. Okay. So honeycomb has some, I think you have taken from the nature, so that's why from the research papers like that. Okay.
But
so,
geometry is all but done by me only, like in SolidWorks I use.
Okay. What is the physics behind to reduce the vibration?
That's what's like when basically this damper seal will be on the this will be three components. This is the damper seal and this is the shaft, and leakage will be basically due to the pressure differences. Can be implemented in turbopumps. Turbopumps like in between of pump and combustion chamber. So if I go to the background, so pump and pump for driving the pump we'll use turbine. So this pump will be running in different pressure and also the turbine will be running in different pressure. So because of that pressure difference there will be a leakage.
Okay.
So when that leakage is there, then the fluid passes in between of this shaft and also the damper seal. So when it passes through that, as I'm creating some patterns, because of that patterns, the fluid whichever is coming inside, it will passes through that patterns also. So because of those patterns, basically the vibration will be created inside, like onto the shaft. So it creates an hydrodynamic forces on that. So because of that hydrodynamic forces, the vibration decreases.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next paper ID is 88. Authors are Pathapratim Bhattacharjee, Saitali Kole, and Saibal Chatterjee. Title is Identity Authentication System for Blockchain-Based Environmentally Friendly Energy Creating Energy.
Today I want to present on paper that is that identity authentication system for blockchain-based environmentally friendly energy generating units. I think nowadays we have that renewable energy is there. So I myself want to present, that is Pathapratim Bhattacharjee, and we have our two co-authors from NIT Mizoram, Dr. Choitali Kole and Dr. Saibal Chatterjee sir. And myself is the research scholar of that NIT Mizoram, as well as I am the assistant professor of NIRDPR NIRC Guwahati. So now I come for that table contents. What I want to discuss, that is first we discuss a small abstract. Then we have the introduction as it is given by that format. Then objective, then methodology, basic hardware for the system, basic architecture of the system, and node identity authentication system, and conclusion. I think that paper has something, we are going to that analog electronics then from the embedded system. So it is something we have to make a big site, but still we try to make it as a conclusion format. So I think you know that is the Internet of Things is used for, Internet of Things is used for that monitoring and controlling of that generating energy unit. So here we want to discuss generating unit is that small one, that is sometimes we can say that is picohydral power plant. And then we have that solar photovoltaic cell as well as wind power. All are that smaller size. We can think it in that 1 kVA or less than or similar like that. Then this type of small set of chunk, such energy monitoring and others maintenance data. So for that it is very difficult for that because numbers are more. And it is mostly in the community based, and all that systems will be placed in the location where that is something different terrain like northeast and etc. So maintenance also is one of the challenge. So we do some pre-process unit by using it. Here is the Raspberry Pi with 1 GB RAM I have tried, but we can do for the Raspberry Pi 0W or 02W also. These are the latest one. Even we can do the Orange Pi also boards for that. And where we will connect the field sensors, which consist of an external real-time clock, because most of the things we know that Raspberry Pi don't have the RTC, so we have to connect I2C bus. Then generated voltage sensor will use some resistance network, load current sensor and other environmental monitoring sensor, which is essential for the maintenance and generating unit. Finally, it forms the edge node. So we can make that is the last one is the edge node. And some of the edge node is formatted cluster format, which is connecting to a fog node, which is for the next level. Then we can go for the MQTT protocol, because we can go for that open source one. So most of the case we are thinking for the open source. So GitHub, this is available. And Raspberry Pi 4 with 1 GB, it is the client, and Raspberry Pi 4 GB RAM. We can go for the 2 GB RAM also, or depends upon that is the cost is there. So it can be the broker for that, and finally from the fog node. So next level is the fog node. We'll show in table format in details. All of these fog node clusters are linked with a cloudlet server through that internet. And this cloudlet server may be a desktop PC, or we can go for the Raspberry Pi 5 also. Now it will find the complete node identification and authentication system protocol for that with peer-to-peer maintenance of the security and authentication system for the energy generation. As it is, the scope is very small, so we can go for the in details of it. We just try to show some basic idea of it. This will also determine the maintenance well-beings, because we have to find this renewable energy source. For an example, a windmill, all time the wind speed is not there. So immediately what we have to do, that is that when the speed is reduced, we have to remove it, that device in that from the main micro grid, so that safety will be comes. And whenever the solar cell will give, say it is, we have that generally 24 volt generating units. So these are that when the voltage will become the less, so we have to disconnect it in night time also. And similarly, picohydral power, when the water flow dried up sometimes, so in that time we have to disconnect it. So here that is well-beings we have to think according to that surveillance also. So, and uses of electric power generating unit, because we can think that unit may be that prosumers as well as consumers are there. Prosumers who can generate as well as utilize the power from them. Sometimes what happens, prosumers may become the consumers, because they can only receive the power. So these things also we can think, because all is the community-based system, and you can go for the remote location with the rural area, where the generating unit are more numbers, because we can think it more numbers are generating unit. So these are the current sensor. We can ACS 712, and that real-time clock we have already discussed, and this real-time clock we can use that is for that. And DS1307 is a 8-pin chip is available in the market. And for the turbidity sensor with analog output, we have a ultraviolet sensor is just below it, we can use. And ADC S1115 is I2 bus interface. I think you know that is that Raspberry Pi device has no ADC is there. If we go for the node MCU or ECS32, so there that is that ADC is there, ECS32, I think 7 ADC are there, and node MCU 1 ADC are there. We can use for the edge node by using this. And another level shifter circuit is there. Just so level shifter circuit is useful for that where that all the devices are working the 5 volt, and Raspberry Pi devices are working the 3.3 volt. So this level shifter circuit is useful for that. I have some publication where I have shown it details. These are the layers. Layer 0 is that all the sensors we are used with that connecting devices. Then edge node is the level 1. Fog node is the level 2. Because time is less, I don't want to discuss much more. And cloudlet server, all the MIS and others are there. Finally, it will go for that MIS generation hosting server. It will be the last two is the both are the cloud based. So internet will be connecting to the last two servers are also there. So these are the basic architecture for the cloudlet server. Hosting server I did not shown here because this hosting server where that is the cloudlet server will be connected. So the layer 1 edge node, fog node and internet through that it will go for the cloudlet server. So these are the algorithms. I don't want to discuss anymore on the registration algorithm, and another is the authentication algorithm. So these are the some practical we try to do it in breadboard. And conclusion, it is successfully outlined the surveillance protocol to security framework for that eco-friendly unit, and it is typically for the 1 kVA. And it's the number is proposed system is enabled to easy calculation for total energy generation and the consumption both for the prosumers and consumers. And additionally, it provides the inside maintenance as well as the data as including the geographic location coordinate, because fog node or we can use one GPS transceiver, so that will be show that location, and edge node will not connect any GPS because it will be too high for the computation, so that it will we will not use it. Furthermore, it will generate the MIS and GPS capable enter the cluster of the eco-friendly power units. Similarly, a compatible trading system can be also implemented some tariff plan whenever that prosumers will receive the power as well as consumers will receive the power and use it. So that can be done through that web-based server connecting to the cloudlet 1. These are the references, whatever we have used. Here I have shown some my old publication also, where I have given some more details also. This one, 23-24, is my old publication for that, where I have given some more detailed circuits of that, because the time is not that much, so we will not do for that. So this is my connecting details, and I request her to ask questions.
Thank you. Any question?
Any question? Any question from audience side?
From audience? I think so. Maybe just I want to clarify something. What is the security protocol you have used?
So security protocol actually we will have to design, because I just authentication and registration part I have done, and here that security protocol we have to design, but still now I am working on that protocol. And here some algorithm which is well known that will be used for that. We will use some public key as well as private key, because its next version is that hybrid mode, where that we will use the edge node, that is that private blockchain, and that fog node connectivity will use that public blockchain. And after that it will go to the fog node base station, and through that fog node base station it will go to that cloudlet server. So this level. So here everywhere will use the private key as well as public key, which is the encryption will be done to that data packet.
How many bits you are going to use in the security protocol? Encryption?
Sir, encryption, I am thinking now 128-bit one. But still now it is, I have not fully completed, and some simulation result I have to show, but I have not given, because we have the restricted the pages here. I have already 13 pages we have crossed. So another 4-5 pages is required. I don't know they will allow or not. If they allow, then I will get, because that question is asking by that editors that my paper is too long, because here analog circuit, then embedded system, then operating system. I'm using the operating system is that Raspberry Pi operating system, which is basically is the Debian Linux. So this three part we have to go, then go to that main system, because otherwise I can give something which is come from that heaven or sky, so nobody will not understand it. So that is why it is something long papers are there. Hope that it can be understandable. So, and I given the reference my last two publications also. One is coming Springer, that is lecture note on electrical engineering, and another one is coming some LCBR one. Some e-journals.
Okay,
Any
nice,
question,
nice.
sir? Goswami, sir?
Thank you.
Okay, sir. So, you want to take the PPT?
Thank you. Our last paper ID, 89. Authors are Anupar Devi Bharali, Bhupali Sharma, Ritul Paur, Tushar Nath, Riju Kalita, and Bijay Goswami. Title is Dual Source SOI TFET for Inverter Application.
A very warm afternoon to everyone seated here. I am Ritul, and today I am here to present on our project topic, Dual Source SOI TFET for Inverter Application. Firstly, before starting, I would like to give a brief introduction on what is our work based on. First thing, that a symmetrical double source SOI TFET of both N and P type have been designed by us in order to understand various and the impact of the different parameters on how efficient the device is and how the device can work in low power has been studied by us. As we all know, as a brief background, I would like to say there are various challenges in existing MOSFET technology, like they do not work in low power, and the switching time is high in case of MOSFET, as well as various other underlying disadvantages like lack of BT-BT tunneling process, which can be combated by TFET, which is a promising alternative. In case of current TFET technology, a standard TFET structure is a very great alternative in case of the fact that they are high speed and have high packing density. But one fact that they face challenges of lower on current, increased switching delays, and reduced tunneling current due to smaller tunneling areas in the classic TFET. So what we have done, we have systematically made modifications on the classic TFET structure and structurally, and then we have introduced double source TFET. This is the device structure that is there. we have introduced two sources instead of just one in the TFET. Source 1 and source 2, both are in red colors. First diagram is of the N-type double source TFET and the second is of P-type double source TFET. And there is a drain in orange color, as we can see, which is separated from source 2 with a silicon dioxide layer. This silicon dioxide is basically acting as an insulator in order to prevent leakage between the source 2 and drain. Source 2 is the primary source because of its vicinity to the drain, and source 1 is the secondary source, which is there in order to enhance the band-to-band tunneling area so that there are greater conduction of current. In this particular slide, we have shown the calibration of our proposed simulated results using Silvaco TCAD, and which exactly match to the reference model that we have used of Dr. Navjeet Bagga from IIT Bhubaneswar's experimental work on the same paper, on the same topic, sorry. And we have observed that the simulated results match 100% to our reference. So, and alongside, we have shown the fabrication of the device, and I would not delve much deeper into fabrication details as it is already there in the paper. I would like to call on Bhupali to explain the experiments and results.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bhupali Sharma. Now let us see what all are the results we have found from the simulation. First is IV characteristic for both P and N-type TFET. So here in this image, we can see that at 20 nanometer, we are not observing the tunneling effect, that is band-to-band tunneling. We are not observing at 20 nanometer, but later at 13, 97, and 5 mm, we are observing the tunneling effect. Next slide. So here we can observe that in case of 20 nanometer, the slope of P-type TFET is decreased. So from this point onwards, we are discarding that the gate length can be 20 nanometer. So we will not consider 20 nanometer as the gate length, and the other one that are 5 nanometer, 7, 9, and 13 nanometer that we can take. Okay, so this is the thickness of box oxide. In this project or in this paper, we have taken the thickness as 2 nanometer. The reasons are, although the device works perfectly in 1 nanometer, but as per IEEE standard, they have suggested that we should not use 1 nanometer because there is a chance of leakage in case of 1 nanometer. And in 3 nanometer, we have observed ambipolarity, that is the reverse tunneling. So we will stick to 2 nanometer device structure only. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are the two structures that we got from the Silvaco software, and we can see that tunneling is happening for both N-type and P-type, and this is the source 1 and that one is the source 2, and we can see since the drain and source 2 are nearer than the drain and the source 1, so tunneling is more in case of source 2 and the drain. And no, go back to the previous slide. And here the BTBT rate is 30% and 31% respectively in case of P-type and N-type. Next. Okay, so this is a very generic concept. We know that the mobility of N-type charge carriers is much larger than that of P-type charge carrier. That we can observe here as well. The IDS curve is 3 times smaller or less steeper than that one from the N-type carriers. So to compensate or to overcome this outcome, so what we have done in the structure while we are designing the device, we have put 3 times the P-type area is 3 times more than that of N-type, so that we can get a complementary structure for both P-type and N-type, and the amplification is the same. So here at last we have observed this is the graph for both P-type and that part is for N-type, and here we have observed that at 13 nanometer we have obtained the maximum gain. Okay, we also have observed this is the structure. This structure we have proposed, and you can see at 0.2 volt, we almost observed the ideal characteristic for CMOS inverter, although the gain is not much high in case of 0.2 volt, but I think we can proceed with this because this gain is, gain 16 is efficient for the inverter. Next. Okay, this is the parameters and DC values we have experimentally got, and this is almost ideal, and we got 97% similarity to the ideal CMOS characteristic. Okay, the conclusion is yes, we can use this structure that we have proposed in place of CMOS, and also we have decided that further after the inverter, we'll either fabricate or design a ring oscillator or an SRAM from this project. With this, we'd like to end our presentation. Thank you.
Good work. Okay. Very good work. Okay. Thank you for your nice presentation. If any questions from audience pool? Okay, if there is no question, just I want to ask few questions. So, what is your objective of this study?
Sir, we are developing the whole device that is an inverter from this TFET structure by modifying it here and there in place of a MOS structure. Because
by modifying?
Sir, we have done the dual gate thing in dual source thing in place of the MOS structure. We have like modified that in that way.
That's why if you want to do modify on what basis? If the modification is there any arbitrarily modification, or is there any reason behind that modification?
Sir, yes, because definitely we can see when we are using two sources instead of just one, which is there in the classic TFET structure. We can see that there is higher area of BT-BT, band-to-band tunneling, and thus charge carrier concentration is increasing. So the device works better. Like in case of P and N-type TFETs, we observe more of that complementary nature to be able to make it work into inverter. So that is the reason we have used a dual source instead of just one.
Okay. Instead of dual source, suppose if you use a dual drain or dual gate structure, then what kind of characteristics
Sir,
we can get it?
Okay. So actually we are more interested into the source channel tunneling, not into the drain channel or gate channel tunneling, because for the inverter application that we have proposed, we are looking at how the source channel works. So that is the reason we have modified the source structure only and kept the drain shorter, because we don't need, because drain is just working as a collector there. So
now, what are the source materials you are using? Source materials, which one is the source? Can you go back to the architecture? Silicon source.
Yes.
You have used the silicon source. Okay. And the oxide is hafnium.
Yes.
HFO2.
Yes.
Okay. What is the specialty in HFO2?
Yeah. Sir, this structure and all this theory already given in the paper that we have already mentioned.
Okay.
So we have just experimentally proven the paper and the result we have simulated.
We have used the Silvaco software to simulate the already existing results that are there and verify it according to the experimental results.
Okay. So what is the future? Suppose you have done the experiments, lot of simulation you have done. So what is the ultimate goal? To compare your work with some other works, na?
Sir, no. Actually, the ultimate goal is to understand whether the device is combating all the disadvantages that is existing to the existing CMOS technology, and also to be able to first, as a building block, we are seeing whether the inverter application is proper or not, and then we'll go further to designing other complex architecture.
So that's why when your inverter with this device architecture, whether it is acceptable to the outside body or not, how can you?
Sir, as we showed,
that convince to the reviewer that okay, my inverter is doing good. How?
Sir, as we showed through the various graphs and we studied different parameters, and we observed that it is ideal to the, I'll just show the,
No, this is okay. So these VTC characteristics, all this is predicting the as an inverter. That is okay. But your inverter is a better inverter compared to the other inverters or not? Good or not? Yes. Something. Suppose I have done some work, na?
97% noise ratio है.
Of a CMOS inverter.
CMOS.
Similar to, it is 97% similar to that of a CMOS inverter curve, ideal curve.
So the specification na, that you have fixed in the target, what should be the characteristics?
Yes.
Whether it is matching or not, na?
Yes, yes.
Then I can understand, okay, it is okay.
So it's matching.
But after that, the job, I have to compare these work with other existing inverter. Okay, if it perform well, then it is very good. So this is a very good work. I think you can carry forward your work and you can think of some modeling also. Later on, huh? You can think of some mathematical modeling of your device and then it will be a good work.
So we are planning on either fabricating one SRAM or ring oscillator. We have not decided yet, but once the inverter circuit is done properly, then we will move forward with this same paper and same project.
Yes, you move forward. Obviously, you should move forward. Okay, thank you. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. As we came to an end, I'd like to thank all the participants and our judges. Now I request all the participants to please come on the stage for a photo session with our chair and co-chair. Thank you so much. Now I request everyone to please join for the lunch. Volunteers, please guide our esteemed guests.